The Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has embarked on a 6-day tour of West Asia. The Foreign Minister arrived in Bahrain. This is his first visit to the country since assuming office. Jaishankar met Foreign Minister Dr. bin Rashid Al Zayani and conveyed condolences on the passing away of the Prince Khalifa bin Salman, a former Prime Minister of Bahrain, who passed away on the 11th of November. And this was followed by bilateral talks with the Bahraini leaders on regional and international issues of mutual interest. The Foreign Minister's next stop will be the UAE. He is expected to leave for the Sheikhdom on Wednesday evening. In UAE, Jaishankar is scheduled to meet Foreign Minister Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan. According to the MEEA, the meeting will be aimed at taking forward bilateral cooperation under the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. There will be discussions on ways for Indian workers to resume their jobs in the UAE in the post-COVID-19 scenario. Remember, more than 3 million Indians live and work in the UAE. The two countries have maintained close, high-level contacts during the pandemic. The hotlines between the foreign ministers have remained active. To the last leg of this tour, Mr. Jaishankar will be traveling to Seychelles. He is expected to meet the newly elected president of Seychelles. He will be presenting the Indian government's greetings to him, and this will be followed by discussions on the priorities of the new government and the ways to strengthen bilateral ties. Remember, India is currently involved in a strategic project in Seychelles. New Delhi is developing infrastructure at the Assumption Island, which will be used by both countries. The minister will be holding an extensive meeting with the foreign minister of Seychelles over the same, and we will be keeping a close eye on those engagements. Meanwhile, S. Jaishankar, who is on that 2-day visit to Bahrain, met his counterpart, Abdullatif bin Rashid Al Zayani. They held talks on bilateral issues as well as regional and international issues of mutual interest. Both the countries have been working closely during the COVID-19 pandemic. Flights are operational between India and Bahrain under the air bubble arrangement. There are over 350,000 Indian nationals in Bahrain. S. Jaishankar thanked Bahrain for taking special care of the Indian diaspora during the COVID-19 crisis. The bilateral trade between the two countries currently standing at approximately $1.3 billion. This was in 2019. As many as 3,200 Indian joint venture companies are estimated to be registered in Bahrain. India and Bahrain have newly collaborated in the areas of space technology, solar energy and cultural exchange. Bahrain is one of the top producers of aluminium in the world. This is one sector which holds potential for greater growth in trade with India. The aluminium sector contributes about 12 to 13% of Bahrain's GDP. Aluminium and aluminium products accounted for 21% of India's $540 million import from the kingdom last year. The imports from Bahrain to India have seen a 35% increase in the last fiscal year. In 2019, Prime Minister Modi became the first ever Indian Prime Minister to visit Bahrain. That visit paved the way for greater trade collaboration between the two countries. India maintains relations with a diverse group of West Asian countries, from Iran to Israel, including the UAE and Bahrain, which have most recently normalized ties with Israel. India's bilateral relations with these states upgraded to the strategic partnership level, demonstrating a broader commitment when it comes to these bilateral relationships. Joining us live on the broadcast this minute is our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal. Siddhant, it is a crucial visit. Bring us up to speed with the latest that you're getting in.
Well, yes, Molly, it's a pretty significant visit. It is the first bilateral visit of the External Affairs Minister amidst the COVID pandemic to all these three countries. He has been to Russia, he has been to Japan, but for the SCO multilateral and of course the Quad foreign ministers meeting. But if we can divide the entire visit into two segments, first the Gulf part, second of course the Indian Ocean region. When it comes to the two countries, these are exactly the two countries which the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi had visited just last year, and this time of course the focus remains the same, that is strengthening of relationship with the Gulf countries, with West Asia. In fact, West Asia is touted as the success story of the Indian government when it comes to foreign policy, barring of course Turkey, which has been a standout. The rest of the countries have increased their engagement with New Delhi, with its Saudi Arabia, with its Tehran or the Gulf states. In fact, when we specifically talk about the two Gulf states, these are the two states which have normalized their relationship with Israel in past few weeks through the Abraham Accords, and that is something that was a positive news for New Delhi, especially when it comes to commercial relationship. We do expect an increase in commercial relationship. Already Dubai or UAE has been a getaway in terms of getting to India, the investment coming to India. In fact, there have been a number of high-level visits, particularly with UAE, two visits by the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi in past few years to that country. In fact, UAE made sure that India is invited to the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC, and that was something seen as a turning point when it comes to relationship with Islamabad, and Islamabad had not taken it very positively. But if we talk about the second leg of his visit, that will be the Indian Ocean region. That will be Seychelles. His visit comes at a time when there is a new leadership in the country, and increasingly we have seen how the Chinese are trying to increase their engagement in the Indian Ocean region. So that is a visit that will have this background, and increased Chinese presence in the Indian Ocean region. In fact, during the COVID crisis, India, under its mission Sagar 1, had sent COVID aid in terms of medicine and in terms of food to 5 countries, which include Seychelles.
All right. Thanks very much, Siddhant, for those updates. We'll, of course, keep coming back to you as and when further details emerge on that visit. Moving on for now.